Meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the regular agenda. Any additions, corrections? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
There's been a motion by Bruce, seconded by Rick. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The next item is the consent agenda. Is there any questions on that?
I have a couple quick
Okay,
questions.
go ahead.
I had forgotten, what are we paying Helena Township for Alton Avenue? I just couldn't remember what that's for.
Yeah, Alton Avenue North is, half of it's in city road right away, and the other half is in Helena's road right away. So we pay them $2,000 to do the grading, plowing, stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. The wood chipper, the tool cat, is the wood chipper tied to that or an attachment to that?
Nope, that would be a separate attachment. A tool cat is actually the device, the machine that it's kind of like a skid loader, but
Right.
a UTV style.
I've seen them at state parks, or what I think is the same thing, and they have, I've seen wood chippers attached to them. I didn't know if that was
Yeah.
what we're doing, but
No, you could. That is an option that we are looking at, putting on a skid loader / the tool cat.
yeah. I think it's really neat because you can just drive up to the stump and do it, so that's,
Actually, that probably will
just-
be at the next council meeting, approval of a stump grinder.
I was just curious. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Maggie, seconded by Rick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, Cindy, engineer projects update. Do we have Chris? Or you gonna do that, Matt? Or is there anything to update?
Yeah, there, not much. I was just gonna point out, we have another construction meeting, with utilities on Thursday. Bevcom, New Prague Utilities, Comcast. Other than that, if you've been in the area, we've started tree removal last week, as it said in the weekly update. And then on the very bottom of it, I'm just pulling it up. It kind of gives you the breakdown. Oh, sorry about that. Of state aid on the total that we are receiving for 2024. It's actually a little bit more than we expected originally, and I can't find it on here.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was trying to figure out how that worked.
Kind of gives you a little bit of information on how it's divided up between the city's population. Here it is. Sorry about that. So yeah, we'll be receiving for 2024 $497,443. Last year we received just under $430,000. So we did get a nice bump, which is great. Obviously, when we do our budget, I think I projected $455,000, I want to say, for revenue from state aid. So it is higher than we expected.
So they take population allocation, I understand that, but what's the needs? Where does that come from?
That's our whole state aid map of roadways that we have, so it's based on condition of the road, traffic counts on the road. It's a kind of a convoluted formula that goes into that, so that's why we try to mix and match roads. If it's reconstructed, typically you wanna move it off of a stated route and put it on a route with more needs, which would be something that hasn't been reconstructed for a while or has, you know, a repair or something that needs to be done. So we kinda shift things around to
That's how it
maximize
works
that.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did receive more this year because of Columbus Avenue North.
Correct.
A little over a mile was added to it.
Yep.
State aid.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That was it, unless you guys had any questions about it. Engineer update.
Okay, I don't have any. Does anybody else? Otherwise, the next item is, the public is invited to be heard on matters not on the agenda. Is there anybody that wants to be heard? How are you, Charlie? Good. Good. Okay, seeing none, I'll move on, to ordinances. vacating certain easements in a plat on Pond Third Edition.
So I'll give you a quick overview of that. So Charlie Sabota and Lisa Fisher purchased 2 lots in Pond Third Edition, which is a plat that was approved last fall, that Mike Wynant had proposed the plat. So they purchased a lot recently in order to accommodate building a home over the 2 lots that they are building. They applied to combine them. And then obviously they can't build a home over an easement, so that's why we have the easement vacation for that easement that just went right through the middle of the 2 lots.
Okay,
So we're just looking to introduce the ordinance tonight that would vacate that easement, and then later item, we will schedule the public hearing via resolution. So,
okay. Does anybody want to introduce the first reading of that ordinance?
I will. I'll go ahead and introduce the first reading of the ordinance, and I believe we have to approve the resolution 24020502 and set a public hearing date for Monday, March 4th, which will come, I guess, later in the agenda.
Okay, is there a second on that? I'll second it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, the next item up on the agenda is, fee schedule amendment for Memorial Park Baseball Stadium team fees.
so I can provide a quick background on that as well. So, over the past few months, the park board has been discussing fee changes for the fee schedule specifically for all of our ball fields, but we had included on the 2020 fee schedule all the youth teams that play on, or I should say, all the teams that don't play on Memorial Park Baseball Stadium. We had left that one because we had not yet, at the beginning of the year, met with the New Prague area schools, Orioles, and Legion. We have since met with all 3 of those entities to talk about the suggested fee proposal for Memorial Park Baseball Stadium. And what the park board recommended and what we brought forward to the 3 groups that I just mentioned was having the adult team fee and the youth team fee actually match what we charge at any other facility in town. But what would be different about Memorial Park Baseball Stadium would be adding a $40 per game additional fee onto the groups that play at Memorial Park Baseball Stadium. And that's really to cover the additional expenses we have at that field over basically every other facility we have. We have quite a bit of upkeep, and then in addition to that, we have utilities for the lighting, for the just general upkeep and maintenance of that field, which totals about $53,000 a year. Park board talked at length, you know, if we were gonna try to break even on the fees up there, it would be roughly a little over $1,000 per game that we would have to charge everybody. It's obviously not a realistic fee to charge teams, or nobody would play at the field, but we wanted to recoup a little bit more than the sub $1,000 in revenue that we were getting from the Memorial Park Baseball Stadium. With the proposed team fee, what it would generate would be roughly $3,500 a year in revenue, which is obviously an increase of a little over $2,500 from what we've had for past revenue on the field. I do note one thing included in the packet related to New Prague area schools. Myself and Matt Rinn had met with Craig Most, Brad Skogerbo, and one other school district staff member a few weeks ago and talked about the proposed fees. They noted that they had not budgeted any dollar amount for the 2024 year for field rental. We did have a $15,000 a year lease in place with them from 2015 through 2023. That was basically, in a nutshell, for capital improvements at the field, but written in the form of a lease. So that ended back in 2023, but moving forward, they did not indicate they had any issue beyond 2024 according to the letter in the packet, but for 2024, they did recommend that be waived. From staff's recommendation, I should say from me and Matt's recommendation, is not to waive that fee for 2024, just so that all teams are treated the same with the generally short time frame for budgeting that all those entities had to deal with. So that's the staff take from Matt and myself's writing of the memo. Again, just to have the same team fee for the youth and adult teams at Memorial Park Baseball Stadium. It's just adding that $40 per game additional fee on top of that. So New Prague area schools would be roughly $1,300, the Orioles would be at roughly $1,300, and then the remainder would be covered by the Legion to make up that approximate $3,500 a year total team fee revenue. And as you remember at the last meeting, we had the lease agreement for the Orioles for operating the concession stand at a $500 a year lease payment. If I can stand for any questions you might have.
I have a question. How do you break down the $53,000 a year?
So we have basically a big spreadsheet of all the fees that we have based on our fee schedule, staff rates, equipment, labor rates, electricity, water, sewer, fertilizer, all down. We could provide you a copy of that, but that breaks down for the whole cycle of operation for that field per year, what we have into that field, actually for every field in the city. But yeah, it's every minute we spend out there, we track.
Why, I would like to see that schedule. Why wasn't that in the packet though? I mean, that information missing. I'd just like to see it. I think I probably.
Yeah, we can
everybody else
definitely
would.
provide it. It's just something we kind of use internally to track where we're breaking on our fees compared to our revenue that we're bringing in. But yeah, we can definitely provide that to you.
Okay, well,
We shared that with all the groups that we met with as well.
okay. I'm just confused because and I could be completely wrong, but I thought that the actually New Prague Orioles did a lot of the maintenance on there. Are they still not doing that, or they were
I
doing
can
it? or-
let Matt address the maintenance end of the field.
We have a field day in spring that the teams come. New Prague Orioles, I don't know how many people they bring exactly, and then the youth teams, they come on Saturday and clean the leaves out of the corners, put the put the batting cage up. That's what they do for us
Okay.
throughout the whole season.
What about during the ongoing season? I mean, I've seen them rake after games. I've seen them put the pitching mound.
Yep,
piece over.
you have to do that at every field. If
Oh,
you
okay.
use our fields, you have to rake, you have to clean out the dugouts.
Yeah.
That's just common courtesy of using our fields, and
Okay.
they're all posted at all of our fields
And then the striping and everything that's done by the teams too,
Yep.
all the individual teams?
Yep, that's how it's always been.
Okay, and then what about the mowing and whatnot?
We do that.
The city does that now?
Yep.
Okay. Was there a time that the Orioles used to do that, or?
I think the school district used to.
Or
do it
school
years
district?
School district did it for 3 years. They did the mowing during their season,
Okay,
but they do not anymore.
okay.
So I will say, just to kind of piggyback off of what Ken was saying, I did speak to Superintendent Ballmuth today, and he just reiterated that being that they're kind of in the middle of their year right now and not really in the budget season, that they had not budgeted for this particular expense. It didn't sound like it would be a problem going forward, as the letter reiterates, but this particular year, it'd be an unbudgeted item, and so they are requesting relief for the 2024 season.
Would they be able to budget for 2024 and 25 in their 25 year?
He did not mention that one way or the other. They just wouldn't be able to do it for this year.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of waiving the fee, but if they want to postpone it and pay it in their next budget year, I would be okay with that.
And I think that's something they may certainly be open to. I would have to imagine they're more open to it than what it's currently sitting as.
Where did this kind of all start? Was it at the park board? And is that money they want to use somewhere else? Because I know the park board budget's gone up significantly over the last 14 years that I've been here on the council, but I'm just kind of confused where all of a sudden this became an issue. I mean, we subsidize the golf course with 320 members, and maybe half of them are city residents.
Yeah, so it did start at the park board actually a little over a year ago in general, just from all of our ball team fees. We had, I would say every 3 years been doing a big review of all of our fees and what we were charging. And the park board said we should really be looking at that annually. When it came down to looking at Memorial Park Baseball Stadium, we discovered that through the lease, it was ending in 2023. The discussion about what the lease was covering or what it covered came up, and we really wanted to just break it down to, what are our costs versus what it takes to prepare the field for a game, and try to make that level playing field for everybody that plays in that facility. And that's really how that kind of came to be. And again, we're not anywhere near to even remotely breaking even on the field out there, but whether it be the school, Legion, Town and Country, if they were playing, they didn't play last year, Just wanted to make sure we have those fees, where we're actually getting the revenue in. I mean, we were under $1,000, last year for the fees out there, and we have a lot of games that go on. So we really were recouping next to nothing, as far, I think it was like almost not even 2% of our, costs that we have into that field through revenue we were getting back. So just trying to move the needle a little bit, but not trying to break anybody's bank account, because we want to make sure people can use them. But we also need to make sure we keep the field up, and knowing that there's another state amateur baseball tournament that's gonna be hosted here, and, just keep it in good shape and not have to start over from scratch like we did before back in, that 2015 to 2018 time period prior to the tournament.
So none of the youth leagues or none of the Orioles or Legion complained about it? They were okay with this?
They did
or-
not, I mean, obviously, they didn't wanna necessarily pay more, but they didn't have an issue with it when we showed them the breakdown of what we put into it annually, versus, what we were asking them to pay, so. No, school district is the only one that, did indicate, that they would have difficulty with the 2024 year.
And Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did do a survey of
Oh, yes.
fees, with the other local communities.
Yeah, we surveyed all the other local communities. It was really all across the board for what other cities were collecting. Some other groups take care of their fields in other cities, and then they aren't charged by the city at all. And then there's a mix, some other cities charge for concession percentage, and it was just all over the board. So we really needed to look at what worked for New Prague, by way of looking at our expenses and our revenue that we have, for the field, and just see what worked out, so. I think that was one thing that got brought up is, hey, over in, whatever city, I know that group doesn't pay anything. It's like, well, yeah, they do all the maintenance there, and that doesn't occur here in New Prague.
I'm just kind of curious if this sets a precedent, what happens when the new pickleball courts start to crack, and are we going to repair those and then put those fees on the park board or the pickleboard association, or, I'm just kind of curious. And then if the new amphitheater comes up and there's upkeep on that, how are we gonna address that? Are there gonna have to be more fundraising for that? Where do we draw the line on the amenities that we want to give to our residents versus where we want to charge for them?
Yep, so far, we've really only charged fees for facilities that we have had reserved. If we don't have reservations for a facility, we haven't been charging a fee for it. So right now, we only reserve ball fields, and, that's when we charge for them. It's like, and park shelters, yeah.
This seems to be more of a specialized facility. I can't take my team and play there. You're not gonna let.
It's not open to the general public.
It's not open to the general public. It's specialized, and it is a kind of a gym. I think we treat it differently than a pickleball court, and it's not open to the public. I don't wanna go crazy with fee structures, but I do think it's legitimate to have something, because we do put a lot more care into it, and certainly golf members pay a fee to use the golf course, and it's specialized, and we subsidize it, that's true, but same thing here. If you're playing baseball, and you have something which I think is a nicer park, and we put more money into it, I think it's justified. I wonder, does the high school charge a fee for watching a game?
I think the high school.
I believe they've got their activities fee, so it would depend on,
No, I meant to the public, if it came and watched. Is it like a basketball game? Do you pay a fee?
I believe so, yes.
I believe so. I think and that's set by the high school league, I believe.
That I'm not sure.
I think as you evolve this fee structure, another way to segment it is a team producing revenue from using our field, and maybe the fee structure can take that in consideration. The school certainly is getting something out of it if they're charging a fee for someone. The Orioles too. You mentioned the concessions. I don't know if they charge a fee to watch.
There's a fee.
There's
So
a fee.
there's revenue being generated, so that's another way to look at it too. And I don't think Little League plays there, right? So it's, almost anybody that plays there charges a fee to see it then. Is that correct?
I guess I don't.
believe so.
I would
but
think
can't-
so,
I
but-
don't know that for
So I guess that's another justification for charging,
It's a
you know,
question.
looking at that, but that's something to consider as this evolves too, and just to try to be fair to everyone else in the community, but I think those are good questions, Sean. How do you look at some of these amenities in the future and the upkeep of it?
Well, so we've kind of agreed though that because the school wanted us to waive 2024, I mean, do we can we get a breakdown and some more information and just how many teams actually play there, what their fee structure is, how much they charge? The last thing I want to do is make it cost prohibitive too, where it starts affecting their attendance, because I don't think they're making a lot of money, the teams that charge there. I think, you know, whether it's Legion or the Orioles, I mean, it pays for new uniforms and new bats
And
and
that was part
stuff.
of the
It's not
discussion.
like they're going home with checks in their pocket.
Yeah, that was part of the discussion we had at Park Board was, you know, we don't want to make it prohibitive for anybody to play there.
And
that
I'm not
was-
saying that it isn't, and
And that's how we went in meeting with, again, the Orioles, the school district, and then the Legion, and, you know, nobody had any issue with that, proposed fee schedule that we're looking at here tonight.
It's totally true. On the other side of it, if the school had to create this stadium and maintain it, it'd be a lot more expensive than the arrangement they have with us. So. I read this letter from the superintendent that he's requesting a delay in the payment. I don't have a problem with the delay in the payment if that's what we're talking about.
I was just wondering if we could just have, I mean, does it have to be decided tonight? Can we get this information and bring it up at another meeting if we're already talking about waiving the 2024 fee? Just because I'd like to get a little more information, a little more feedback on what teams are using it, what their fee structure is.
Yeah,
How Matt came up with the 50, or you and Matt.
So you're wondering-
53,000.
I guess we
not
could
approving
certainly,
a waiver.
my question would be, do we feel like our answer would change if maybe it's only costing us I guess I'm confused. I understand the certain information and like, so what you're charging them, but, to continue it to see what the city is putting into the field though, I guess is what I'm a little confused.
Well, I'd like to get some feedback from some of the teams as well, though, too.
Okay, I mean, that's
Well,
what,
that's
I
what
mean,
we
that's
did.
where we received our.
We met with them one-on-one.
Okay, and they were okay with it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And clarification, I'm not saying we should waive it. I think the request was to delay it. And I'm okay with that
Yeah.
delaying.
Yeah, that's what the letter said, was a delay and not a waive, so, so the memorandum says a fee waiver. So I just wanna make sure.
Yes, it is a delay they are requesting.
Okay, so what does the council wanna do?
I don't know if they're just asking for a delay, we can vote on that tonight.
Well, but the
Well,
last sentence of
Then
of
it
the
says
letter-
forgive in the last line.
The last sentence of the letter says we're asking for the city to forgive the payment this spring, summer, and commence payments for the 2025 season. So there's a little contradiction going on.
Yeah,
I'm okay delaying it until 2025, but not waiving or forgiving it.
I would agree that it's a very, I understand the school's budget, but this is not a very material number
Right.
in a budget that's much bigger than the city's.
Okay, does somebody wanna make a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 24020501, amending the official 2024 fee schedule.
Okay, is there a second?
second.
And there's a second. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. All right.
Does that include the delay?
I don't think that did include the delay. There was, I don't know what the hurry was, but we decided.
I can amend the,
I mean, that would be up to you guys.
And I'll be okay with the amendment.
so I'll add to the resolution that for the new Prague Area School District, that we delay the 2024 payment to be payable in 2025.
Okay, and you are okay with
accept it.
that? Okay. And then. Okay. Do we have to revote?
Yes.
Okay. So then we'll revote on that amended resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, On this setting the public hearing, did we do that then with Maggie's earlier?
Well, no, we didn't, now we
Okay.
will, cause we're in the resolution part of the
Gotcha.
agenda.
Okay, that confused me a little bit. All right, so I would take a motion to set the public hearing to vacate certain easements of the plat on Pond Third Edition. I'll make that motion, 24-02-05-02. There a second?
Second.
And Bruce made the second. Any discussion or questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, now we're down to general business. Ken's gonna talk about all the fun growth here in the city.
What kind of detail would you like to get into?
Nice overview.
All right, pretty similar year for our, commercial building audit, from last year to this year. You can see we had 11 new business openings compared to 14 last year. We had 23 business closings or changes. That's where people might move around downtown compared to 22 last year. Then we're actually down on vacancies a little bit, and a lot of that has to do with, some of the development projects that we had permits come in for. So I'll just real quick recap some major projects that we had, permitted and completed last year. So Bricks Boat Works in the industrial park. And then, another one towards the end of the year that, ate up two of our lots on the commercial inventory was Bishop Investments, Dan Bishop, constructing his office building on First Street Northeast. Other than that, we had a lot of, changes downtown. Cedar Press Coffee opened permanently. Starlight Productions opened in the old, Delaco Arts, Theater. Outlaw Saloon, reopened in the former, Pioneer Saloon building. Hair Force opened downtown. Lark Studio Arts formerly opened downtown. So a lot of activity moving around, and we have a lot of, questions and little permitting things that we have to do with, these changes in the buildings downtown. So keeps us busy and on our toes throughout the year. Other changes included, getting close to final completion on all of the MVE Biological Solutions additions, up on, First Avenue and Seventh Street there. That was their 26,000 square feet in building additions. It's been going on for a little over a year. That's why I don't count it as new at this point, because it showed up as new on last year's, listing. A couple other projects that we expect to happen, this year, early on, hopefully, would be Scott Equipment, building a building on their lot they purchased in the industrial park back in 2023. We do have some permits in the queue for the Bros LLC, to get some renovations, done, including a lift at that building. And then some other minor, little changes in there, regarding, an ADA bathroom in one of the lodging rooms on that second level. And then we had some other little changes to note, in there as well. Pizza Ranch obviously temporarily closed. I'm being told it's looking like February 19th that they will open up now.
Okay.
And then just a couple other closings, to note, the Hansel refinishing and upholstering building, which is still vacant at this point. And then, the tobacco shop out at the East Town, or, New Prague Commons Strip Mall moved and expanded out at the, strip mall out there. So, and we did get a permit in for, Munson's Potato Shack, to move into their old space right next to Papa Murphy's, so. A lot of permits in the queue right now that we got, either very late in the year or early on here in 2024. So a lot of activity going on as far as that goes. Any questions on that? Otherwise, I can kind of move into the vacant lot inventory.
No, go ahead. I don't have any questions.
Or excuse me, the summary of permit stats. So get into that quickly here. So we had 11 new home permits in 2024 or 3, which was down from 14 in 2022. But our construction value is up quite a bit. Obviously, construction value is up on everything over the past year, and we saw that in the new home construction value. And again, these values that you're seeing do not include lot price and anything other than just, that basic shell of the home, footing, foundation, shell of the building, and plumbing, HVAC, that type doesn't include all the necessary finishes in the building. So wanted to point that out. Other things to note, value of commercial and industrial permits did increase from 5 million in 2022 up over about 6.1 million in 2023. And again, that was due to some of the additional permits from MVE Biological Solutions, Brick Boat Works, the tobacco shop moving, and other renovations and movement of those buildings downtown. That changed quite a bit. Public permits increased in value from a little over $87,000 a year to a little over $650,000 in 2023. That included some public projects, including the park shop renovations that were started for the building that the city bought in the industrial park, some new dugouts at Foundry Hill Park, which were a donation from the baseball boosters, and then a garage addition at the St. Wenceslaus Church. So again, very busy year. We should be on the downturn now and continuing into 24 on some of the roof and re-siding work. We did still have over 350 re-roofing and re-siding permits here in 2023. But we are seeing that trend downward as people are getting close to their 2-year time period, which is kind of the end of the insurance time period to get a lot of that work taken care of. So a few more yet to go early on in 2024. So with that, any questions on that summary? Then finally, the vacant lot inventory is probably the most interesting one in my opinion. We are down to 37 lots for the year that are available at the first of the year, I should say, for residential lots as opposed to 43 last year. We've had some little plats here and there in 2023 that helped keep us close to where we were last year, but obviously with the inventory dwindling, there's not a lot of variety out there. Of the 37 lots that are on the residential inventory, not all of those are actually on the market. A lot of those are lots that are people own maybe a double lot. They have no intention to sell. We simply showed on the inventory as being a separate parcel of land that could be sold and has utilities available. So I think we're estimating just shy of 20 that have been or are on the market at any given time, which is not a lot. I mean, that's at our rate we are right now about a year supply of lots unless we get some more plats in here. The commercial lot total, we're down 3 from last year, and again, that had to do with the Bishop building using up 2 of those lots, and then we had the couple other small projects out there that used up another lot up near the industrial park, and then finally, the industrial park, we're down to 4 shovel-ready lots out there that the city owns, in addition to a lot that Randy Kubish owns north of the fire station. So again, not a lot of vacant land out there for somebody to just walk in and pull a permit. So what it'll take to get that tide changing, I don't know. I know as we wrap up the comprehensive plan as far as residential lots are concerned, that is one of the big discussion points in the comprehensive plan is getting more land open for development and also looking at the variety of housing options that will be needed in New Prague, out to the year 2040. So we're gonna schedule a joint workshop with the Planning Commission and Council to look at the comp plan within the next month. And we'll get into more of the details on, how we move forward with the new comp plan and hopefully get some more development going here. So that's about all I have to note on that front.
Is that gonna be this month yet or next month?
What
were you thinking?
We're hoping by the end of February, yes, that we would like to get that done, because we're trying to get the plan wrapped up in total in March, by the end of March. So more to come on that.
Okay, any questions of Ken? Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess it's miscellaneous. We'll go.
Point of order, we did miss, there was the Joint Powers Board.
Oh, yes, I
10B, is that
apologize,
what you're
thank
talking
you.
Yes.
Yeah, next item is the Joint Powers Board. There was a resignation on that. Matt resigned off the board. And I had Josh reach out to somebody from the park board because I thought that would be a good fit instead of.
Yes,
And-
and Matt Beck of the Park Board did express, he said he'd be very interested and willing to fill the seat.
So do we have to accept Matt's resignation and appoint Matt?
I mean, I don't know if you need to accept his resignation. 'Cause he-
Okay.
If you don't, I don't know if he's gonna not be
Okay.
off. So, no, I think more importantly, the fact that, he has resigned from the seat, put in 2 years, on that board, and so, and Matt Becca of the Park Board is interested and willing to accept the open seat, so.
Okay,
Matt, you did a great job. I mean, you're good with the numbers. I'm gonna miss
thanks
you.
for your time on there. I'll make a motion to appoint Matt Becca, to the Aquatic Fitness Center Joint Powers Board.
And I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
She'll be a good fit.
Huh? What's that?
He was just wondering who the other one on Aquatic Center was.
Yeah, it was Ken, and then yeah.
I've been on
And
it
then
forever now.
Yeah, you have.
Thanks, Ken.
It's a pretty high-quality group.
Well, we'll discuss that some other time.
So just a quick question, is that until we, put the other boards and commissions up for, or is this gonna fill out Matt, did Matt have like a 2-year term?
That was,
No,
that
there's
was,
no
because
term.
I had a question about that, so this is kind of a whole different,
This is a different ball of wax.
Oh, it is,
Ball of
okay.
wax,
Yeah, there are no
totally.
terms. Basically, you're on until you say you don't wanna be on.
I see.
Yes, correct.
Or I guess unless the council would wanna remove you, but yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of operates on its own.
Yeah, that one operates, because I had that question and I hit you with it before the appointment, because I didn't see it on the appointments before that. Yeah.
The only one that's still on there, than when I started, is Sandy.
Yeah, she doesn't really have a choice.
No, she doesn't.
Well, and Sandy's not even a
Board
No,
member, no.
board, she's just a, like, financial,
Finance.
so you are the only remaining original member, Rick.
I'm not really that original. I
Oh,
took
you-
Sean's place.
Oh,
Because he,
Oh, you were on it
he
originally?
figured out how to run and he ran.
I did my 2 years, the first 2 years, they weren't pretty.
No, they weren't. Okay, we'll go around the horn. Rick, do you have anything?
No,
Bruce?
No, Jess, I don't know if you're gonna mention, I followed the date that you had, sent about the recreational study with Wold, you're thinking of changing, I don't know if you're gonna talk about that later, but that's it.
Okay. Are you, tomorrow, is it tomorrow? No. When is the public hearing? The hospital, if you haven't heard, is gonna give up birthing.
yes, I saw
Here.
that.
Just wanna let you guys know, cause
what do they have?
they let us know, they're giving up birthing at the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
And there's gonna be a public hearing, by the Department of Health via Zoom, but I can't remember the exact date. Is it tomorrow or?
I sent you guys that email, I can't remember,
Yeah.
I'll search for it over the next few
But-
seconds.
But, just FYI.
Yep.
That they decided to, not birth here anymore, and then they're going to, sounds like then they're gonna expand the cancer wing. Big
Yeah, I
time.
saw that too.
Well, can I ask a question about that?
Yeah,
We appoint them as our health directors, correct? No,
No, I don't think the city has any say
don't
for
we?
that.
we don't have any say.
So, and
They just notified the city just out of
courtesy.
courtesy, or I don't know if it was part of the litany that they
That's
had.
too bad.
too.
I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of
it
you guys
is,
were
but
born right there, weren't you?
Not me. No. But some of us were. Anyway, that's all I had. Sean?
I just had a quick question. I couldn't recall, I had somebody ask me about the charging stations, for the electric vehicles, and I know there's the one over at Coburn's. Did utilities pay for that, or did the city subsidize, or did we get a
Rotary Club.
grant, or? I can't
It's the
remember the
Rotary.
financing.
A lot of the subsidy came from SIMPA.
Oh, it was
through a
from,
program and arrangement with them.
Okay.
The utilities really didn't bear much of any cost to the,
There's one
Establishment
there
of
and
it.
there's one here.
Yeah,
This one's a credit card one also, correct?
I think it's the same units, same type, aren't they?
No, I don't believe so. I think that one you
Has more.
has more. I just think, but it's,
I don't actually see anybody use them, but.
no.
I haven't either yet, but Simpa was the one that financed most of it. Was there any state money at all, or?
No.
I don't believe so.
Okay, I just had someone
I
from LeSueur
think-
County ask, cause they were
Yeah.
looking at trying to get one in.
I think what it is that the utility companies, SIMPA,
Yeah.
that's part of their green energy mandate,
Yep,
that they have to, and so then, you know, that's kind of one of their things that they
sure.
help finance.
It's been a while now. It's what, 4 years, 3 years
Something
ago?
like that, 3 years
At
ago.
the same time, they donated that clock to the.
That was
Harvard.
Rotary.
That was Rotary, so
Okay.
that's how I remember it.
So this, and I don't know if you guys have heard or not, cause I know we discussed it at one point, I couldn't remember, but, is Simple looking at expanding that anywhere in New Prague or maybe outside of New Prague in their territory, or have they done it to with other cities, or?
I think at the time, and I'm trying to recall, because it has been a while, I think they wanted to, there's kind of an incentive for their members, and they provided so many of them that they were gonna put into the market
Okay.
of their members, New Prague being one of their members.
Okay.
And New Prague took advantage of the utilities. I'm not sure if every city got them, but it was offered, and I think it, like Dwayne said, it was part of a program that they matched up and.
I'm sure Bruce Reimers would have more information for you.
Okay, perfect. I think that was the only other question I had.
If you think of it.
All right, thank you.
Maggie.
Is it okay if I bring up the Greenway?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we received, Mayor Jarek and I received an email from a person here in New Prague about the Greenway Trail. And the question is was it just repaved or was it regraded? And to my knowledge, it wasn't regraded, but evidently there's some issues with water pooling on the path.
You're jumping out in front of us. I was gonna have Matt update you guys on that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so
your
it was,
straight man.
it was milled completely down. It was not regraded. It was just kind of a reshaped, kind of left in place, and then we just put a 3-inch lift over it. Last fall, I had noticed a couple areas that I think there's about 5 or 6 spots that are holding water. Took a bunch of pictures, sent them over to the contractor. They asked, could we wait until the summer coming up, because they still need to put the second lift on all those streets instead of them coming and doing a special trip. But I said I had no
Sure.
problem with that. So they are aware of it. Our engineer is aware of it. We have it all documented that we'll be looking at it this spring/summer.
Which area are we talking about?
Greenway would be the park right behind
me.
Fishtail, that new path that we just put in last year.
Okay, just that short
Yes.
part of it?
Yeah, from 10th Avenue all the way to Main Street. The little circle that's in there, there's about 6 spots that, when we're talking holding water, we're talking a 1/4 inch maybe, but it's still holding water and it should be shedding off, so
Okay.
they will be looking at it this summer.
Good.
Can we get an update on the crosswalk sign that was going up there? Do you have any new information? We had talked about that at one point.
I don't have a delivery date yet.
Okay, okay.
Over by Hy-Vee.
I just had, no, not the Hy-Vee
Oh.
one, on the one by Mayor Jarek's house almost, right, where it crosses 10th. Just past Mayo and
Yep,
that crosswalk, I think we had, at one point, we had talked about trying to get a lighted sign similar to the
yeah,
sign at Hy-Vee.
we would be applying for a grant that there isn't anything open on those yet, but
Okay, so,
Ken have always are monitoring that, but nothing, again, those are $35,000 that we didn't budget for, so.
yeah, no, and I knew there was some other considerations involved, but one of the persons that had brought that up to me asked me about it. That was the other question. I couldn't remember, so.
So we did, I don't know if you noticed, I think after, this was last summer, I think you brought it up, or fall maybe, we
Yeah.
did paint blocks instead of stripes there. Try to help out a little bit, the visibility, so now anything in New Prague that's, around a school or 35 miles an hour or higher, now gets blocks instead of stripes.
Oh,
Just cause
nice.
it's a little bit more visible, so short time, or short term, hopefully that makes a difference, but yeah, we are constantly looking for grants to put more flashers up.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So are we doing crosswalks by Dwayne's Road there as well, or just the Greenway crosswalk there?
But right now it's just Greenway.
Just Greenway, okay.
We haven't, I don't think we will put one at that intersection, just because there is one a half a block south of that. And especially with that road being as busy as it is, I would hate to have,
And it's downhill there too. so-
yeah, it's not a great visibility, so I would like to keep it where it's at.
Okay.
And Dwayne's getting a lot older too, so he doesn't move as quick.
Yeah, I,
I gotta get that in there.
Okay, let's move on.
Since I'm exactly the same age as him, I guess let's move on.
So, Maggie, did you wanna get back to her?
I
or
would be
should
happy to,
Okay, great.
be happy to.
Josh?
Yeah, so I just forwarded you guys the email.
Yep, I just saw that
The public hearing for the Mayo thing is tomorrow.
tomorrow.
At 6 o'clock. It is a Zoom meeting and the access code and whatnot is in that email I just sent you. So if
Thank you.
would like to participate. A few things, to go off what Bruce had mentioned. Originally I sent out an email about Wold being back to kind of give us a, hey, schematic design update as well as a rec study update. Bruce had mentioned he wouldn't be able to make it. It's all right with the rest of council. I will push that back into the middle of March, just that you guys can all be here to hear the update and provide any feedback. I emailed you, or we talked last time about Day on the Hill. On the 7th of March. I won't be able to make it this year, but if any of you are
can't
interested, I can certainly get things lined up for you to go on.
Nobody else is going?
I can't this year. I got too much stuff going.
I can do my work from the phone.
Okay. And then the other one, I sent out the trainings, Scott County is putting on for emergency management training, for elected officials as well as, the staff members who may be doing something should an F5 tornado sweep through. Are any of you interested in participating in those trainings? The first one would be here Valentine's Day, and then it's one a month, kind of for the next 4 months. So, they did kind of tell us if you can attend one but not the others, that's certainly okay. Or if you want to attend all 4, you may do that as well.
Can you send me that information?
Yes, I can forward you the information again. And I believe the training is up at the Scale facility,
Right.
In Jordan?
up in Jordan, yes.
Okay.
They're not online then.
I don't believe so, I can certainly look at that. But, yeah, I will send that out again, but, if you're interested in this first one, if you could let me know here by the end of the week so I can RSVP, to them so they know how many people are coming.
I am, and I will get a hold of, I'll get a hold of my transportation. Yeah, send me that and I'll get a hold of you in the morning.
Okay, I will not be in the office tomorrow, so if you call my cell.
He's having surgery.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I'm not my daughter,
Oh, yeah.
but, yeah.
If I do, what time is that happening?
Check-in's at 11:30.
I got so much to do tomorrow. Let me call you Wednesday morning on it.
That'll work much
And
better.
good luck with your daughter.
Thank you.
Was there a recommendation from that Minnesota Homeland Security Management that people should take it, or did they want at least 2 council members, or do they want all of us, or do they
I
want?
mean, Tim might have. I realize my mic hasn't been on this whole time. Tim might have more information as to what's expected. I know that they're just trying to get information out. I know Tim even had someone come and just speak to staff here about a year ago, just because it's been so long since we did anything. It's nice just so that people know what's going on, should it happen, but.
Yeah, I think it's more of just an informational, if something should happen, you kind of have an idea of how that process works and kind of your roles and duties as a council and how things would navigate through that. And we do have our emergency operations plan that's a part of that, but they offer this to the elected officials just as kind of a base, so you understand how the process works and as you go through it, what you can expect, questions, things that may come up. So I don't think it's a mandated
No.
No, but
course
what,
by any stretch, but
what's your thought? Would you like to see one or a couple of us go?
you know,
to
it'd be
some of
nice
these?
just to have that because it's such it's not a frequent occurrence, right? So,
Right.
you know, it's something that if it did come up, there's gonna be a lot of questions, whether you attend this or not, but this would give you a general oversight of kind of how this process would work and things to anticipate and maybe things that you didn't think of now that you could prepare for. And a lot of emergency management is preparedness, so there's things that you wanna prepare for in the event of, rather than wait for it to occur. So I think it would be beneficial to see some of that, and, you know, you certainly all don't have to attend, but I think one or
I'm
two
signed up for it.
might be a good thing, so,
And I've had the training,
sure,
the other,
yep.
that we were mandated back in the,
Through the sheriff's department.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's tabletop exercises is
Yep.
what it's gonna be.
So yeah, I'll be signing up for it. That sounds like a good deal.
Cause it's, you know, we talk about tornado, but the chances that, probably more of a truck tipping over in town with some hazardous material on it
Yeah.
is more realistic than,
Yeah, all encompassing, you know, when you
know.
think about emergency management, you think about tornadoes and floods and things,
Yeah.
but there's the biological and chemical stuff too, that's just as much a part of that, so.
And this, the first one's on the 14th,
Yes.
and then are you required to go to all four, or?
You are not, so you can attend one, you can attend all of them, it's up to you.
Okay,
And, yeah, so,
you can sign me up for the first one.
First one?
Yeah, or do you need to RSVP for all of them? Can I mean, if I like
nope,
your,
and that,
if I
that's
get
just it.
something out
Like,
of the
I
first one?
figured I would just RSVP for the first one, and then maybe a couple weeks out from the second one, RSVP for that. So, yeah, I can certainly sign you up too, Sean.
Tim, what's the participation been from other cities and their elected officials? Have you attended those before? I mean, was it?
I've not attended any of these, so I can't speak to what the attendance has been in the past,
I don't know
that-
if they've ever had any.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I think this is new.
you know,
As
there's-
far as,
Yeah, the emergency managers in the area do similar things, but on a different, you know, in a different role, so I don't know what past participation looks like in this, I couldn't speak to that, but
Okay.
I know there are, in talking just to a few of the emergency managers, most people are sending at least one or two people from their cities to attend, so I think it would be,
great.
I think it'd be well worth your time.
Okay, thank you.
That is all I have.
okay, Ken,
Nothing.
Tim?
No, I don't really have anything. There's a memo. We have an officer starting next week, so that's good news. The bad news is we were losing one, so, one for a trade, so, an officer's going to the Farmington Police Department, so his last day is tomorrow.
Okay.
That's all I
Alright,
have.
thank you. Matt?
I have nothing.
Okay. Well, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Rick, second by Sean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we have a special meeting after this.